gets another hit. That could be fatal blow. That could be the whole
No,
game.
he forgot.
Oh!
And there he is.
Yo, what's going on? Welcome back to the Roundup. What we got this week? We're going to be checking out team battles in Europe and Japan.
Another block hit, backdash.
FD. And guess what? DNF finally mentioned. What could make 175,000 people watch Platinum Rank players play Street Fighter 6? And whilst the CPT Online premiere was suspended this week due to technical difficulties, the World Warrior series rolled on. All that to look forward to this week in the Roundup.
Hello and welcome to Mortal Kombat.
One of the very first MK1 offline events happened in New Jersey this past week with a 64-man bracket on only day 3 of its release. Big names like Kitana Prime and Gur were present and in attendance. It was K7 Showoff and Splash who both made the winners finals, with Splash getting the win and putting K7 Showoff into the losers bracket. K7 was able to earn the run back though, as he beat Turkey Sucks Milena 3-1, and he took that momentum with him into Grands in a close first of 3. Last game, last round, K7 Showoff reset the bracket, and there was no stopping the runaway train that was K7 Showoff. It was a completely one-sided affair going into the last match, 2-0 up. The final game comes down to a very close timeout with both players, but it was K7 who secured a 3-0 sweep in the reset grand finals and an offline victory. Look forward to lots more Mortal Kombat covered here on the Roundup in the future. Reject Fight Night was back and it pulled in over 175,000 viewers across all channels. You might ask, why was that? Well, it involved teams of 5 players of varying different skill levels. The main crux of it was one player on each team was a pro, and they ought to bring in one other player to help coach. The rest of the team was made up of players from Platinum to Master, and each player fights the player on the other team of the same skill level in the first to 2, with each set being worth 1 point. Lots of the players involved are online celebrities, with VTubers and big streamers for other games involved. They streamed their group training sessions in the build-up to the event and the main show, and that helped the reach of the event pull in those numbers for the finals. Grand Finals saw Team A versus Team B, and although Daigo's team managed to get the win in Grand Finals, he was carried because he wasn't able to beat Kakeru a single time. One of the MVPs on Daigo's team was Taiji, a Splatoon national champion, and he also happens to have an incredibly strong JP with a very impressive performance. Absolutely love this format, and the fact that it gets the game out there in a meaningful way to viewers from other communities means events like this continue to be a big success. Thanks very much to Giuna for the help on deciphering what the hell was going on in this format, because it was pretty impenetrable for me as a stupid Westerner unable to read any of this stuff. But I think this is definitely a format worth expanding on in the West, and hopefully we see more of it. Yo, I want to send a special shout out to the full team that have helped this week. That includes Cert, Retsu, Keno and Lazarus coming through with the event coverage. Thank you always to Nick V on the editing as well. This is a team effort. It's not just me locked up in the basement. If you don't know by now, we're here every week on Reversal, rounding up the tournament results and the hypest moments from all the events around the FGC each and every week. If you got some events coming up, hit us up and let us know. The Twitter is on the screen right now. It's Reversal_GG. Let us know what events you got coming this week ahead. Make sure you are subbed on the YouTube as well. We're dropping content all the time, fantastic event coverage, and of course the VODs of all our live streams. Speaking of live streams, you can catch us on Twitch as well. We're broadcasting most days of the week for our Winner Stays On Weekly, and of course the World Warrior events for the UK and Ireland and France. That's Bracket Reset and the Ultimate Open Series. We're going to be repping heavy at UFA in November in Paris, and you can sign up for that right now. Tickets are available, so go and pick those up. And little insider information for you. Look out for the official launch of Reversal merch happening at UFA this year. And hopefully online as well for you fans around the world. Right, that's it. Let's get back into some more action. This past weekend, the FGC rolled back through South Africa for Cape Town Showdown, which was on the Tekken World Tour. But first up, on the Street Fighter side of things, we saw Book's Ken square off against resident fan favourite Jarby M, who made a name for himself, of course, back at the Kumite. After seeing success in the World Warrior recently, his DJ managed to close out a tense 3-2, closing it out with the level 3 chip damage. After Book beat Apollo CPT's Cammy 3-1 in losers finals, he earned a run back with Jarby M in grands. It was once again the DJ level 3, but this time it hit and it closed out a big victory to dispatch the Thai Tekken Pro and earn a famous victory on home soil as Jarby M continues his domination in South Africa. As for the main event, a stacked Tekken 7 top 8 full of international competition kicked off with CBM defeating Anakin and Arslan Ash beating Book. The losers bracket played out to have Chikarin and Book square off in an all 2D battle in 3D as Chikarin's geese made quick work of the Akuma from Book. Jin, however, made all the difference as Book was able to bring it back and take the win 2-1. CBM, in a huge result, sent Arslan Ash to losers in winners finals and put him on a great path into grand finals on the winners side. Book would face off in a rematch against Arslan Ash, but it was more of the same and he proved to be too strong again as he earned a second shot at CBM and his Noctis by dispatching the Akuma 3-1. It was looking good for the 4-time EVO champ as the bracket was reset in a very close first set, but CBM was able to turn the tides and overcome the big favourite going into Cape Town Showdown with a 3-1 win in the reset grand finals and to take the precious TWT points.
And big apologies to those with the communities involved.
With the CPT Central America East suspended due to a technical fault, all we have to round up for the Pro Tour this week is the World Warriors, and there was quite a few of them, so let's get straight into it. In Asia East 2 and the Obi Cup saw Uma beat Hot Dog after Hot Dog reset in the grand finals. Fighters Dojo in Asia South saw Psionic once again take the win as his Marissa beat out Mikey Rog JP in winners.
We're all going down to Memphis!
Things are progressing fast and some regions are already in their third World Warrior. Canada West on Wednesday night fights saw Mike X's Luke beat Nate Banks' Marissa in grand finals. In Europe North and East 2 for Saltmine League, Phenom once again took the win with his Ken as he beat Merkin's Luke all the way through winner's side. And still in Europe, Germany 2, also Saltmine League, saw Kezman's Jury beat Random's Manon after resetting from losers and winning 6 games straight after dropping the first game in grand finals. But even more impressive than that was Japan 3, and Tokido won 9 games back-to-back through winner's side, including a 3-0 thrashing of Kazunoko in grand finals to win the third World Warrior. Whilst also holding down a large number of World Warrior events, the Saltmine League season in EMEA reached a conclusion this week. It's the finale of 11 weeks of tournaments since Street Fighter 6 launched, and 8 qualified players on a points-based system seeded into the finals brackets to compete for a €1,000 cash prize. We saw Mr. Crimson, Lord Venom and Valmaster entering the tournaments as the favourites with the top 3 highest places respectively. The top 8 bracket was seeded based on placings throughout the season, so we got Mr. Crimson versus Nassim Claw Hurricane versus Shady Imposter, Lord Venom versus Random, and Valmaster versus Kills You. And the tournament started with a brilliant upset by Nassim Claw, who got a convincing 3-0 win over Mr. Crimson. Aside from Lord Venom previously, Nassim has been the only person to beat Crimson in a set before these season finals. Hurricane vs Shady Imposter was up next, and unfortunately Shady learned the hard way that you can't test Hurricane's reactions with another convincing 3-0 win to Hurricane. The 3-0 streak continued, and next up was Lord Venom vs Random, but it was another upset and Lord Venom was unable to control Random, who sent him down to losers with a 3-0 sweep. The last match of the first round was Valmaster vs Kills You, a matchup we've seen many times before, and these two broke the 3-0 streak, but not by much as Valmaster played a clinical game and ended it on a huge whiff punish that saw the score finish at 3-1. JD Imposter was eliminated by Crimson with this very nice Dalsim combo.
Combo, little freeze there. Oh, we get to see the funny loops.
Oh my god, this is fun. This is fun. I like the loop.
Lord Venom then faced Killsu in a tense set that went to a 5th game, and he was able to advance on at the expense of Killsu. That JP cannot be stopped. On the winner's side, Nassim Claw once again provided a big upset. This time it was Hurricane who was his target, and he made it into winners finals as he managed to pull off another 3-0 with the Honda. On the other side of winners semis, Valmaster and Random were fighting for the other spot in winners finals. The man-on wasn't working and Random switched it up to Ken, only to get perfected. Valmaster quickly closed it out and made it to winners finals with a 3-1 win. Back in loser's side, and Lord Venom took on Hurricane and reminded us all of the power of JP with a huge OD Amnesia combo, melting away Hurricane's life bar.
Hurricane dudes deserve this.
They
flew on their meat.
One more significant touch was all it took for Lord Venom to close out, and a 3-0 sweep saw Hurricane out of the bracket. Mr. Crimson was looking to get another run back against Lord Venom, but had to face Random to do so. And Crimson was able to control the chaos with the pressure of his own and took a convincing 3-0 victory. Winners finals played out next, and despite his best efforts and an amazing run so far, Nassim Claw was sent down to the losers bracket by a absolutely fantastic performance from Valmaster. He's looking unstoppable, and the 3-0 win gave us our first grand final qualifier. Losers semi saw that run back between Lord Venom and Mr. Crimson. Crimson had the edge 2-1 in their head-to-head. The two gave it everything, but in the end Crimson secured the victory in the tournament and the set scoreline, both of which end at 3-1 for this season. Speaking of runbacks, it was time for Nassim Claw and Mr. Crimson to clash once more in losers finals. And it just wasn't meant to be for Crimson. He wasn't able to turn the tide, and this time, although closer, 3-1 was the score, and Nassim Claw eliminates Mr. Crimson. So the final was set for season 1, and it was an all-French affair as Valmaster and Nassim Claw faced off. Whilst the two did go back and forth, Valmaster was in the form of his life, securing a convincing perfect in game 2, and then utilising Chan's wall jump to perfection to evade a butt slam and equalise the score to 1-1 via a timeout. In the end, this fine form continued, and Valmaster is a real master of his character, and he's also the master of the Saltmine League as he was crowned the champion of Season 1, taking home €1,000 courtesy of that top 1 payout.
Don't be a level 3, that is
Don't be a doubter, bro. Oh, you doubted.
Congratulations to Valmaster.
A huge week of team exhibitions here on the Roundup, and in Europe, France versus Spain in a 10v10 on Guilty Gear Strive. With the new patch breathing new life into Strive, it's great to see these regions putting on showcases of their talent, and what better way than a 10v10. France started with Pinhead winning the first few games, beating Flamingo, Equilibrum and Dragoi, putting them 3-0 up. Pinhead was finally stopped by Cuenca, making it 3-1 to France. The momentum had firmly swung back, though, to the Spaniards, and Cuenca evens the score at 3-3, eliminating both Triquiza and then Acrid. 3 seemed to be the limit though, as Patachu knocked out Cuenca to move on to Patata Salvaje. Patachu going on to hit that magical 3 wins and making it 6-3 in France's favour. That forced Spain to send up Uriel Legion, and guess what? 3 again. That was the end of his run, but Uriel was quickly seen off by Arefu, and that left Spain with only 3 players left, and Spain up 7-4. Arefu was taken out by Addiction, hoping to try and level up the score, but they were in turn quickly dispatched by Dasonologist, making it 5-8. Dasonologist taking the win against Ray Peru meant that it was Orochi mode for Crema Catalana Pro and Team Spain on their final life, with France still having the likes of Skill and Neos ready to fight. Crema does beat Dasonologist, but still has 4 Frenchmen still to face, and up next he goes up against Neos. Keeping the dream alive for Spain, Crema defeated Neos and then managed to get the win against Wacklists. But this curse of the 3-win streak continued, and as Skill sat watching on the sidelines, Krilu managed to close it out for France in a tense final game, but that was it for Spain, and France emerged victorious. In another Strive team battle this weekend saw Japanese players compete in a 12v12 exhibition show match featuring players from Ibushigin and JIG fighting it out. The format was quite new for Strive standards, as it was 2 lives each and the games were first to 1 best of 5 rounds. The score was dead even at 4-4 when Saryu's Ram gave Team Ibushigin a 1-point advantage. But it was all for naught, however, as an inspired Moki stepped down for JIG and won 4 straight games, ending the exhibition there and then. DNF Duel has been fairly quiet recently, and with no Arc World Tour this year, the community has taken things into their own hands. With the release of a huge balance patch and 2 new characters in Spectre and Brawler bringing more players back to the game, the NA and EU communities thought now would be the best time to organise a team battle between the 2 regions. The format was 2 lives per player, first to 3 rounds, and an anti-carry rule in place where unless you were the last remaining player on the team, you could only win 3 games before getting off the setup. Now, this is not the first team battle between NA and the EU. The first was early on in the game's lifespan, with EU taking the victory, so this time NA were looking to finally get revenge. Kicking things off was a blind pick, of course, and it was a Lost Warrior mirror match between Saraptor and Reiko. And it went the way of NA, taking first blood in a close round 5 first game. Reiko didn't stop there, beating Ganondorf before finally EU sent in their star player, dbfz, the player who had dominated the EU for the past year with his grappler. Stepping in to beat Reiko, followed by Huber and finally Monicat, before the anti-carry rule came into place. That left the 2 teams at an even 3-3 score, however losing a life on EU's strongest player so early on would come back to bite them later. NA promptly took the lead again, with Stake beating 3 of the EU players, including Pessy, another one of EU's strongest. It was already starting to look bad for EU at this point, down 6-4, and it would continue this way until Goombu stepped in, with the Dragon Knight taking 3 solid wins, leaving EU just a game away at 8-7. However, this would not last, as GoldenEye would step in for NA, a star player rocking the Ranger, one of the strongest characters in this version of DNF Duel. After GoldenEye took down Lord Rack, EU were down to their last lives, and Sanguine tried to take on Ranger, only to be the first to fall and lose both lives. Stepping up next was Ganondorf, who managed to take down GoldenEye, and the score was now at 10-8, still fairly close between the 2 regions. NA had far too many strong players though, as they sent Jin in, the Kunoichi player, proving too strong for EU, taking 3 more players out and leaving EU with only 3 lives left, while NA still had 9. All was not lost, as Goombo came in and once again swept the NA team, leaving the setup with an undefeated 6-0 record, whilst the anti-carry rule took them out, leaving the fate of EU in the hands of Pessy and dbfz. However, with GoldenEye taken down Pessy in a nail-biting round 5 situation, it was all now down to dbfz. The carry rule didn't apply for the anchor, and he would have to take down 6 remaining members of the NA team. It was a tall order, and dbfz started off extremely strong, getting the 3 wins over GoldenEye, Reiko and Lupro. They looked almost unstoppable and incredibly clutch. The whole EU team started to believe. But Blue Linkies put an end to that dream, beating out dbfz and taking the victory home for the NA team. It was overall a great event showcasing DNF Duel, and while the scene is small, it is still going on strong. The unity between the NA and EU community is invaluable, and even though NA won this time, the score is now even at 1-1, and EU will definitely come back better, stronger and more prepared for next time. I am contractually obligated to say that by Lazarus. Okay, that's all we got time for this week on the Roundup. Thank you so much to everybody again who sent in their event, and of course the team for helping out put this together. Big up Sir, Keno, Retsu, Lazarus, and Nick V. It's a big team effort to put this together every week, so thank you very much, guys. I'll be back next Tuesday with more Roundup action, but until then, take care and make sure you're following us on the social media. It's at reversal_GG on Twitter. You can check us out on Twitch as well. That's just reversalGG. And if you're in Europe, why don't you sign up for some of our online events that we're running as well? That's it from us. Take care, and we'll see you real soon.